Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Musicians Creating Prosperity podcast. In today's episode, we're going to tackle imposter syndrome, how you can overcome it, and how you can learn some practical strategies to master your inner confidence, step into your authority, and build a sustainable and prosperous music business without feeling that you have to sacrifice who you really are. Let's dive in. So let's talk about why I chose this topic for today's episode. You see, I have been in conversations with musicians for so many years, and I have seen a recurring roadblock that stops musicians from really growing in the way they could in their businesses. And it's not lack of strategy. It's not lack of tactics. It's not even lack of overall know-how on how to build a business. It truly is an internal roadblock, and that is imposter syndrome. When we talk about imposter syndrome, we talk about this feeling that you don't have enough credibility, perhaps that you don't have enough trust created in your community, in your audience, and that perhaps your skills are not worthy of recognition, of investment, of buy-in from people around you. And you're constantly seeing what other people have and thinking that they're better and that there's nothing you could do that would potentially, give you a space in the market, that it's too crowded. And I can understand that perspective because in a way, as you grow into being a musician, as most musicians get trained, and I know certainly I got trained that way, we're actually taught to want to blend in, right? We're taught to want to conform to certain standards, whether it relates to, learning a different level in your, education, being able to be recognized and approved by juries, right? When you're going through college, there's always this ingrained conditioning around fitting in by being similar to everyone else, by conforming to standards. And while I can appreciate that, and I think that's very, valuable, and, I'm a certified examiner for the Royal Conservatory of Music, so I totally understand the value of having performance-based standards to mark your level of achievement. When it comes to building an online business and creating a brand online, the way you need to recognize your achievement and your worthiness does not need to come from external markers of success, credentials, degrees, awards, opinions, even testimonials. The best way for you to tap into your own worthiness is by understanding what your story is. How did you get to this point in your life where you can actually share your experience, share your lessons, share the challenges you've had to overcome with people, and not have to do it needing other people to recognize you and to tell you that you're worthy, right? Basically, what I have heard so many times when I talk to musicians about this is this feeling that there's other people doing what they want to do and that they're doing it at a better, maybe even charging less. Maybe they have a more success, at least apparent success. And there's this feeling of what could I possibly add to this situation, to this problem that I think should be solved that isn't already being solved, right? And I want you to know that when you think about your inner differentiator, it's always going to be about the collective skills that you have. So one of the things that I love talking about is the framework around an umbrella, right? Branding yourself through all of your different skills, both musical and non-musical. And when you start seeing yourself as the collection of skills, as a collection of experiences, and how all of what you've done in your life can give you a unique perspective to help people in a certain way, no longer are you simply focusing on your specific hard skills, if you will, around how well you teach an instrument, how well you perform, how well you do whatever, but rather, what is your perspective around what you do? What are the values that you bring into the work? What do you care about? What are some of the things that you stand for as it relates to solving a specific problem that you care about? And what are some of the things that you may stand against? When you come into a place of clarity and you truly ask yourself, what do I really care about? What is important for me to address? What are some of the problems that I want to help people solve? What do I feel uniquely capable of helping people do? Regardless if there's a lot of other people doing that already, how does your unique lens create a specific value, right? When you start recognizing that right now you have so much that you can offer based on your experiences and that give you that competitive edge. As long as you discover these and you recognize that there are indeed a lot of things you can do, all of a sudden your inner confidence becomes magnetic. You start creating a very strong signal into the world around everything you do, how you show up, how you present, how you even reach out to people. People can feel that you truly believe you have something to offer. So one of the things that I think stops many musicians from succeeding and overcoming this imposter syndrome is that you're waiting for that validation to come from outside, from external sources, from people telling you, oh, you're great. Oh, you're wonderful. And instead, the first step is to recognize internally, what do you value? What matters to you as an artist, as an entrepreneur, as an educator, as whoever you are? And then how did your journey, how did your story give you that unique perspective to be able to solve that problem and in a way that is different than how everyone else solves it? Maybe you had to go through several lessons in your life where you faced different roadblocks, right? And you had to come up with strategies to overcome those. Maybe you had to figure out how to develop a unique strategy, a unique framework, or maybe you saw other people developing that framework or you helped other people develop that framework. It doesn't always have to be something you went through directly. It could be something you helped other people overcome as well. I think imposter syndrome is very, very typical, and it's a well-known deterrent that stops musicians from even like launching their businesses or thinking they're worthy of doing this, because there's this overwhelming notion that, oh, there's all these other people doing this thing. And for a very long time, I remember feeling this way as well as I considered what I would do once I finished my degrees, going through all the degrees culminating in a doctoral degree. I wondered, how am I going to do anything when there's already so many people doing what I'm doing? And it wasn't until I understood what I'm sharing in this episode around your personal story, your brand. When you recognize that your skills are just one part of what you do, the rest is your perspective, the story, your background, your unique problems that you had to learn how to solve, and your now conviction and desire to help people. And when you combine all of that with your skills, then here's what's going to happen. You're going to start attracting people who buy in to you as the person, first and foremost, rather than as the expert, right? They buy into you because they connect with your values. And mind you, be ready to not appeal to everyone. That's okay. Like when you start speaking in this way, sharing who you are, sharing your perspective, sharing your story, sharing your values beyond just sharing your skills, you're going to magnetize certain people who have those same values, who share that perspective, and others may repel it, and that's okay. When you are willing to show up and be okay with not being for everyone and not interpreting any potential, rejection or resistance that you may face from your community as a sign of failure, but instead as data, when you can interpret rejection, resistance as just information instead of a sign that you're on the wrong path, then you're able to stand in your authority and really have a lot more conviction around what you have to say. Develop that communication skill. Learn to share your mission, even if it's not super polished, even if it's not perfect. People will feel your passion. They will feel your energy, and they will magnetize themselves to whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're wanting to attract clients to your programs, whether you're wanting to connect with potential partners, increase your collaboration opportunities, whether you're trying to attract even team members into your organization, that conviction that you will grow in by recognizing how your journey is what actually sets you apart, not just your skills, the journey you've been through, the skills you've learned, that is your superpower. When you are able to tap into that, you will uncover a unique differentiator, and no longer will you be doubting and thinking, oh, but there's all these other people that are doing this. Why would I succeed? What would I be able to do differently? It's already been done. Yes, things have been done. The minute you have a great idea, yes, a lot of other people have that same great idea. But there's two things that happen. Most people that have great ideas, let them sit in their subconscious and don't actually take action on them. They don't do anything with those ideas. And then the few people that actually implement and do the things they need to do and get out of their comfort zone and break the status quo, the inertia, if you will, and go on into implementing those ideas, they're going to do it in their way. You may be doing something similar, but you will learn by approaching everything you do with this personal side of you, and really infusing your perspective and your lens in the work that you're doing. You're going to see that as you develop your own solution, as you come to the market and share what you can do and how you can help people, people will feel drawn by your perspective, by your lens, right? Think of it as a lens. If you envision many different cameras looking at the same image, right? Each camera will have a unique lens, and there will be a reason why people will want to use one camera instead of the other, right? There's so many analogies I can give, but the idea here is when you recognize that you're not just a camera like everyone else. You have a unique lens, your background, your expertise, the things that even where you were born, what you had, like what you did when you grew up, all of these things impact the way you work with your clients, the way you work with your students. So I want you to really think about, for you, as you're watching this episode, listening to this episode, what would you say have been your unique experiences growing up? Or maybe in the last 5 years, as you have evolved into who you are now, maybe you're actually attracting and wanting to work with someone who was where you were maybe 5, 10 years ago. What happened since then? What happened since you were at the point maybe of struggle, when you were trying to overcome challenges? And in which way did you evolve? What did it take for you to create the change, the solution, whatever transformation that you are now, able to make, that you created? What did that look like? That now gives you this unique competitive advantage, this unique approach to solving a problem. When you focus on building a business with a strong personal identity, as the saying goes, people will invest in the jockey, not the horse. No longer are you seeing yourself simply as a subject matter expert. When you start seeing yourself as a human being, as a person, as someone who has immense value. And yes, this doesn't mean you can't continue growing. You're absolutely going to continue growing. You should be striving for continued excellence and development. That's always welcome. But do not allow this feeling of, still pending growth detract you from standing in your authority right now, shining your light and offering your expertise and offering your solutions. Right now, as you're listening to this episode, there are people that need you. There are people that need your expertise. They need your lens. There may be lots of other options for them to choose from, but there's nothing like you. Why? Because you are unique. You are a unicorn. You have so much. Maybe you've done many different things in your life, and that diversity brings you to this moment in a way that you can help people because you have this expertise. I work with so many musicians who have been doing other things in addition to music. Maybe they had a second career. Maybe they had administrative skills. Maybe they had to learn about health and wellness. Maybe they went through personal challenges. And putting all of that together gives them a unique perspective on how they can help people because they've done so many things. So if you are a musician listening to this and you're wondering, well, but I haven't only created a career through performing, or I haven't only done something through this one thing, but I've done all these other things, that's actually not a disadvantage. This is a superpower because that experience, that outside experience, has given you a unique lens that now you can transfer. And as long as you are conscious about this, no longer will you look at other people and think, oh, other people have more to offer than me. I'm not really valuable. Who would want to work with me? There are so many solutions out there. Why would someone want to work with me? Because you are unique. That's why. And when you discover that, when you learn how to package that, when you learn how to put it in a strategic way in your business, then you will actually recognize that you have so much to offer. So let me know in the comments what your takeaways are from this episode. I hope this serves as inspiration and a guidance to help you stand in your authority, overcome imposter syndrome, have practical steps to be able to have, daily practices. Maybe look at testimonials from the people that you've helped. Maybe journal every day and ask yourself, what am I grateful for? Where am I now compared to where I was 10 years ago? What has changed? Who have I become? Sometimes having practices of just sitting and reflecting on how far you've come, looking back as an effort, as a strategy of gratitude and appreciation, and just comparing where you were maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Where are you now? Do you see how powerful you are? Do you see how you've overcome so many things? Sometimes we get too caught up in looking into the future and we forget to look behind us, to look at the past and acknowledge how far we've come. So let this episode serve you as inspiration. Let me know, put a comment, share with us your reviews on this podcast. If you think this could benefit anyone else in your world, by all means, share. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Let's prosper together.